Ah, Italy, the home of pizza, hand gestures, and obviously the Monza Grand Prix. Welcome everyone to this week's review of the Monza GP. Let's get straight into the action. Let's compare the teams that I think that are going to be good. And in first place, we got probably what everybody was already expecting, McLaren. McLaren has proven to be the fastest team overall. I think that this will be the trend continuing forward, and this week will be no different. Red Bull's advantage has been clearly cut down, and from 2022 and 2023, when Red Bull could actually run with a high downforce rear wing to take care of their tire wear, this year they cannot afford that. Now that they have proper competition in the shape of McLaren, they actually need to go to a low downforce specification, which will cook the tires. And if you have seen last week's Grand Prix, you will know that the Red Bulls have actually a kind of a problem with their tires. And number two, the tire problem boys, the Red Bulls. They are probably going to be my second rated team and probably going to be it on the road too. The thing is, Red Bull, even though that they are not as strong as McLaren right now, they are still very, very strong, and they are bringing updates, which is something that even if they are not performance upgrades, brand new performance upgrades, they are upgrades in the terms of that they are bringing parts, they are bringing pieces that they have actually used before, and if they have not used them before, some particular ones. We usually see every single year one-off rear wings being done for Monaco and for Monza. The ones in Monza can actually be used as well in Spa or Baku, it depends for the teams, but Red Bull is actually bringing those upgrades. Now, do I think that they are going to be enough to actually overtake McLaren on track? I do not believe so. I think that if this year Red Bull needs to use a little bit more, a little bit less downforce, it will bring the field closer together, and if they are actually cooking their tires and are unable to turn in low speed corners, that means that probably there will be some chicanes on Monza that will hurt Red Bull, which is why I'm putting McLaren first of my W's, because I think that they are the more complete package at the moment. And for my Italian bros, no bias from me at all. Ferrari is going to be my third W. The reason why I put Ferrari up there is because they are bringing a big update. Big in the sense that it's the first large update since their Imola upgrade. Right after Imola, one or two races afterwards, I think, Ferrari has launched a new upgrade, but that upgrade was actually just a fix for the purposing that the Imola upgrade brought. So it was basically an upgrade, but it was just fixing the issues of their previous upgrades. The big package was in Imola, the SF 2.0, right, which proved to be a whole bunch of nothing. All of the hype died there. Last week they were pretty good, and they were the best team with tires, the best tire wear for Ferrari. I have never seen this before. Ferrari was always chewing their tires. The fact that they've got that under control is actually pretty optimistic. If they can improve the rest of the car in terms of performance and keep the low tire deck, then they can obviously challenge for wins. Do I believe that this upgrade will get them wins? No, I do not. But we cannot just ignore the fact that they are bringing updates and the fact that this is their own Grand Prix. Even though I don't believe that they will win, I believe that one of the Ferraris will make it to the podium. It will probably be Charles Leclerc over the line in front of Carlos Sainz, and not because Carlos is necessarily a worse driver, although I do rate Charles better, but I believe that usually at Monza Charles is usually a little bit better. Of course, last year it was not the case, and it was actually Sainz who finished third, but I do see Charles being on a better run than Carlos at the moment, and that obviously also messes with their drivers' heads. One more thing, since it's Ferrari on their own soil, basically the engines will be uncapped in terms of power. They are going all out. If they win in Italy, it's going to be basically the third come of Christ, this time in the shape of Charles Leclerc. The Italians know how to do it. However, I'm all out of W's, so let's give you the L's for this weekend. Starting off with Aston Martin. Aston Martin does not bring any new parts for this Grand Prix. They are decent at top speed, but not the best. And if they're not bringing any parts for this Grand Prix, it's also a red flag. And that is because this Grand Prix usually always brings a little bit of an upgrade with it. Because it's a different circuit, it's on the nature of this track. Just like Monaco, it needs specific wings, just because it's so outlandishly different from other circuits. My second W is going over to Kick Sauber. I don't know what those guys are cooking. No parts, no nothing. I just feel like this team is lost. They have a good driver in the hands of Valtteri Bottas, but I think they are going to fire him, unfortunately, because I believe that him with Nico would be a very, very solid midfield drive. Honestly, Bottas is pretty decent and people rate him really low, and Nico Hülkenberg, just because he hasn't finished on a podium yet, it doesn't mean that he is bad. He never drove for a top team, so we also don't know how good he could be. Personally, I've always rated him ever since the Renault days, when people used to say that he was mid or a midfield driver. I always rated him a little bit above. I do consider him a pretty good driver. Nico Hülkenberg next year, obviously part of Sauber, but this year Bottas and Joe is not. It's just not it, man. And not only that, but the team is doing a piss poor job. Terrible pit stops. They have woes every single weekend. Their strategies, my god. And not only that, but the car is slow and chews their tires, which means that they have no downforce at all. And even then, they're not efficient on the long straight, so they don't have the best top speed. That car is an unbalanced mess. And finally, my third L is going over to the V-Carbs. The reason why, it's because they've been not that good on straight line speed. And this weekend, I do expect them to be behind Williams, which is a very efficient car on straight line speed. So if we count my top three, which is McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari, you add a Mercedes in there, you add a Williams, and suddenly you've got them 5 teams. If all 5 finish, then even if VCarb finishes in P11, P12, they won't bring any sort of points. I don't believe that they will finish P11, P12. I believe they are going to finish lower unless something crazy happens. We are also, and this is just a fun fact for you, at least in the turbo hybrid era, there has never been a period so long as this one where no safety cars have appeared. So that's a little nugget for you as well. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the Logan Sargent situation. My guys, it was not unexpected for them to drop Logan, okay? It was unexpected for me, the Colapinto call, but I totally get it. There are some channels out there saying that it was a bad move. What is Williams thinking? Personally, it's so clear what are Williams thinking. If they have got Logan, which is on his second year, right, crashing the car constantly, ruining their brand new upgrades that they had just gotten, okay? Why are you putting him on the car if he can't bring points? He got 1 point at Austin last year, so mega for him, got points on his home turf. But other than that, he brings nothing of value to the team. He either crashes the car or doesn't finish in a good position. And they've got Albon and Sainz for next year, which are a mega duo. And what they want to do for the remainder of the season, instead of getting Lawson, which is, it's Red Bull's problem, they're not going to let him go, clearly something is going on there, but if they cannot get Lawson, if they cannot get Kimi Antonelli because he's going to Mercedes, why would they put their rivals' drivers on their car? If Williams wants to be taken seriously, then they need their own juniors, and that's exactly what they're doing. They are cooking with their own juniors. They've seen Colapinto's performance, right, with MP Motorsport this year, but he's only P6 in this championship, which means that if he doesn't show up for the remainder of the season, it doesn't matter. He's just being tested. He doesn't care about the title of F2 because he's not going to get it, and then he will have another year in F2 or in Super Formula, maybe in Japan, just to try him out, just to get him ready for when Williams calls him, which might be soon or not, because Sainz is on a very flexible contract with the team. So yeah guys, this is my W's and L's and a little review of the nuggets from Logan Sargent. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Also, please subscribe and like the video.